Okay, of course, right there. And let's get this stream started. I see upcoming. Now I see it saying live. Now I need to hear it. Okay. Because I'm on a new OBS setting thing here. Okay, it is working. Hey everyone, this is Dan, first person looter, and yesterday I platinumed Hogwarts Legacy. It was a lot of work. Now I thought it might be fun to go through and look at some of these tips and tricks videos, things that maybe one or two of them I looked at some of them briefly, but most of them I didn't because I just didn't want to see any spoilers. But now that's done, I want to see what people have to say and see what I may have missed. There was one video that I did see of someone using the cursed spells in Hogwarts, and like all the professors come after him and stuff. That's crazy. I'll probably watch that too, but I went through and searched for like tips and tricks and beginner's guides and secrets and whatnot, and found videos that have tons of views. So let's start with one.
Well, the definitive Harry Potter simulator has finally released, but not everything's super obvious for you. There's stuff that
That's true.
Have to figure out on your own, stuff you're gonna have to find on your own, or watch the rest of this video. Hi, folks, it's Falcon.
That's why I wanted to watch it. I wanted to find these things on my own, unless I really gave up.
Number 10, how to learn the dark arts. One of the big selling points pre-release was that you can take a dark path and learn the dark arts, something only normally used by the bad guys. Eventually you get the chance to learn these sinister spells, but they're not part of the main story, and so it's possible to just miss them. Or if you're not interested in becoming a gray Jedi, wizard, you can just choose not to learn them. Plug those ears and do the Jim Carrey gif. Ah, there it is. Good stuff. If you do want to take a trip on the dark side, play through any Sebastian Sallow side quest. When they pop up, like they start appearing after the main story mission in the shadow of the estate, which you get.
Thank you for that.
The midpoint of fall. After the quest, Sebastian eventually contacts you with a follow-up called In the Shadow of the Bloodline. You complete that one, and you're on your way to learning the dark arts. Remember, the dark arts stuff is all side quests. It is not main quests.
It's good that they're telling you this.
If you do something as part of the main story, it probably has nothing to do with dark arts spells. We'll give you the option to not learn the spell. That's not a bluff. You can pick the dialogue option where your character says, I don't want to learn that, and you don't learn it.
Oh, wow, okay. I was wondering what would happen.
Walk out like a good and pure wizard boy.
How did these people figure that out? Do they, like, save the game and then hit one option, then reload the save and select another option?
Dialogue options come up, that's good. I would do that. And be careful how you respond. So, there's no mechanical consequence.
There you go.
For using the dark side of the Force as a pathway to many abilities some consider unnatural. But there are actually some story repercussions, especially in Sebastian's questline, so keep that in mind. If you want to roleplay a goody two-shoes, you probably don't want to learn these spells. But if you want to be a huge, awesome badass, like...
But it doesn't really change the outcome of the ending of the game.
All the Star Wars jokes, but man, they work well here. Then completing Sebastian's side quests is how you get those spells. And number 9, crafting healing potions. Hogwarts Legacy is actually kind of surprisingly challenging on normal. Like the enemies...
It does sort of tell you this.
When the game starts, the money is pretty tight. So the fact that you're going to want to go through healing potions pretty quick, and the fact that you get...
There's a potions class.
Where they're telling you to go spend money somewhere, makes it quite convenient that you can actually craft your own healing.
Yeah, there's the mission.
The ingredients you need for healing potions are Dittany leaves and Horklump juice.
Yeah, it tells you that in the mission.
Are easy to get. You get the seeds for them right at the start, and you can grow them at any potting station. Horklump juice doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well, nor is it easy.
Horklump. Horklump.
You primarily find it in caves, dungeons.
I see it all the time.
In any given cave. But with how many potions you may be going through, that's probably not enough to keep you stocked up. So if you really want to load up on Horklump juice, let me tell you how to do it. There's a cave north of Hogwarts near the Upper Hogsfield fast travel point called Horklump Hollow There's 11 pieces of
That's cool that they tell you about. Yeah, okay.
Certainly what we would consider a decent haul compared to most other dungeons. But if you wait around for 3
I guess because I just wasn't crafting potions too much.
Fun, so you just run through the same cave again, get another 11 Horklumps. Also, you can wait by opening up the map, press the right stick down on R3 for a PlayStation controller, and you wait from day to night. So you do 6 or 7 times, resources are all back. Go get Horklumped up. So you max out the amount of potions.
I love their wording.
Stations that you can build in the room of requirement, and you'll max out on healing potions in no time flat. Well, sometime, but not the amount of time that it would.
Yeah, my room is filled with planting stations.
At number 8, if money is your thing, there's a trick to making it much faster, and it's called poaching. So you'll find that some parts of this game are pretty anti-poaching, but if you want to make a bunch of money, sure, you can get some gold from opening chests, you can sell gear.
What, rescue animals and sell them to the...
What I would call significant amounts of money. That is reserved
to the lady at the...
chest things with a big eyeball on top. Once you have the disillusionment spell, super easy. You get 5.
Can't believe it took me so long to figure out that.
More than you get from pretty much any other activity in the game. But even though once you get the invisibility cloak and the disillusionment spell, this is a nice little windfall of cash for you. They are finite. If you really want a nice, consistent money-making option, what you got to do:
sell the animals.
Poacher, okay? You eventually unlock the ability.
Yeah, but you're not killing them
in this game, and they're the only truly farmable resource in the game.
You're saving them from bad areas, right? I thought.
That poaching is bad and that you should rescue it.
No, stupid little thing.
Some sweet coin, okay? It's simple. You go to a beast spot on the map, grab every beast you can catch.
Okay.
Animals you quadruple toes, estimate stealth.
This is going to take forever if I go through all of the videos.
They told us it existed, and that's pretty much it. So,
and stealth wasn't working for me at all. They always saw me.
But that's not the case. Hogwarts Legacy actually has great stealth, maybe even a little overpowered. You can use it pretty much everywhere, and as long as you're fighting dark wizards or
overpowered? What are you talking about?
Effective. The main thing you need to do to get the most out of it is to invest 2 talent points in the stealth tree and make it so enemies no longer detect you.
No,
talents, enemies barely.
I don't know. They always detected me, but
but I just assumed the bottom part of the map was locked until you like finished a quest or something. The thing is, you can't just fly there. If you try to jump on a broomstick and go over the mountains, you'll hit an invisible wall. And at a certain point in the game, you do have to go down there to do some quests, and that's when people...
Well, I discovered you can go around there. Over to the left, you can. But there is a...
You do not have to wait until winter to
access there's not just an underground thing. I got through it without going under there.
Access all the towns and challenges down there. I started up a new game just to check, and even though it takes a while to get down there, the doors are open. It's interesting that they don't really make it clear how to get to the southern section of the map. They just kind of leave it to the players to figure out a passage by themselves.
I'm pretty sure you can cross over.
You can pretty easily stealth by them.
On your broom, yes you can.
Every other enemy in the game, so, you know, sneak.
Maybe I'm not misremembering.
Which is used
oh yeah, to unlock things, yeah. I do kind of wish I knew that earlier.
Unlocking Revelio, they become very much locks all over the place. So once you get the unlocking spell, you're probably going to be staring at the little lock picking screen a lot. At first, try.
You got a tip for this?
Takes forever because every lock's basically 2 Fallout locks in one. Very, very tedious. But I noticed after dozens of them, the sweet spots are almost always in the same spots. It's not like Skyrim or Fallout where
oh, really?
Can be anywhere. In this game, it's always in one of the 8 cardinal directions. So up, down, left, right, and then the diagonals. Basically your D-pad in these locks. Once you notice that, wow, does it become way easier. Because you can just basically cycle between those 8 directions on each thumbstick. The lock pretty quick. Another nice thing about these locks is they don't get harder. Level 1 locks are as easy as level 3 locks. So it's weird doors covered in symbols all over the place in Hogwarts. And
I really wish I figured that out on my own.
You figure out what you're supposed to do.
But I had to look it up.
To the rest to put the correct first summer in this one, right? Anyway, hidden in Hogwarts Castle, there's 3 secret puzzles that are kind of just there. They're not part of a quest. They're not required for any...
Oh, yeah.
There's so much humor in this one, right? Anyway, hidden in Hogwarts Castle, there's 3 secrets.
There's 3. I was wondering about that, too, because it said solve 3 secrets. And I'm like, well, what is a secret? I mean, there's a lot of little passageways, and the whole piece, the whole idea of this castle, this magical castle, is that it's just one giant secret. But certainly there are these 3 puzzles, these like this bridge thing that there's nothing else like it, unlike like the moth things you have to keep finding. Or Revelio pages, which is the same thing, and it's all over the place. These are 3 individual things.
Fire spell, the flower, it starts, which only opens up after completing the quest for the 3rd keeper trial. Once you bit of a pain, but why would you do this? Great treasures, necessary point. If you're at some spot in the story and it requires a certain level, but you're not there, what are you gonna do? Well, you could do side quests and hunt around for field guide pages, but that's not the most fun thing in the entire world. Fighting actually is pretty good in this game.
It is.
Point where grinding is actually enjoyable.
Yeah.
Jake said it before you buy. It's very much like a Warner Brothers open world game here.
Yeah.
And combat in open world Warner Brothers games.
Just do the side quests, unless that's what they already said.
Guess what? There's a battle arena northwest of Hogwarts.
I don't know how many points you get doing it. I tried that, and it didn't look like my level thing went up much. But I was on 38, so...
Quickly, to be frank. Especially if you crank down the difficulty to story mode. The game doesn't penalize...
Which I did for my replays, just so I could get the trophies faster.
Incredibly easy. You feel like a total badass who can magic the ever-loving crap out of people, and you get a bunch of experience. So
I guess you can see that experience point thing going up when you're on a lower
10, 15,
level.
and you're gonna walk away with a few levels. If you have the Dark Arts pre-order pack, which
I do.
I think was a PlayStation exclusive, it's even easier. Just find the Dark Arts arena in the Forbidden Forest, which is actually right near the entrance of the forest if you're entering from the road to Hogwarts. It's in the southern part. You can grind out in an arena much more devious than the battle arena.
All right, next one.
A ton of fun in Hogwarts Legacy, and I've got a bunch of tips to help make sure that you also get the most out of the game from the start, including a number of things the game won't tell you.
This has 2.1 million views.
So I'd love to share them with you to make sure you're getting started.
And it's much louder, wow.
Cover tips for story progression and exploration, how to get lots of gold early on, the most important talent skills you should unlock first, how to solve some of the tougher puzzles,
Dark, crunchy video.
all without any story spoilers, so you're in good hands.
Oh, good.
Big thanks to Avalanche Software, Warner Brothers, and the rest of the Hogwarts Legacy team for sending me a PS5 code for the game. Let's start with my biggest piece.
Why didn't I get one?
Which is to focus on progressing the main story for the first 5 to 10 hours. The game is a little slow to start while it's teaching you essential mechanics, and it doesn't really give you free reign of the open world until you finish Chapter 1, which is marked by the seasons changing and the autumn cutscene playing. So I really recommend focusing
those are what you call chapters?
until you've reached that point. By that time, you'll have things like the Room of Requirement and flying on your broom unlocked. Even more importantly, you'll be free to explore the castle and Highlands by then, and you'll have most of the basic mechanics and spells needed to do so properly. Trust me, I know it's tough resisting the urge to explore straight away. And
That's like sort of like all these games that like everyone talking about the Fallout door opening up and then you're finally out in the open world after you've been in that little Fallout shelter. But I sort of like that. I like that it makes the open world feel even more open when you have to start constrained. Because I think it builds up excitement. And yeah. You may even start to get used to being in these small spaces, so the change is just so much better.
And by all means, have fun checking out the castle and grounds however much you can at the start. Just be aware that the game will often prevent you from doing so, and things get a lot more fun once you've finished playing through the first 5 to 10 hours. But even in those first few hours, you'll quickly realize that navigating the castle and surrounding Highlands can be a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
The way to find your way around is by using your field guide to conjure this really nice golden thread that shows you the shortest path to your quest objective. To get it to show up, first select a quest you want to focus on in the menu, and then back in the main gameplay screen, simply tap on your D-pad and your
I like that he just has the mini-map. There's no mini-map.
Especially in the castle where it's really easy to get confused about where you are and where you need to go. You do need the map to access Floo Flame fast travel points though. So in addition to rotating the castle around and zooming in with R2 to select these points, you can also use the list on the left to choose an area.
Yeah, I can't believe how long that took me to realize.
I find this is the easiest way to get back to the Room of Requirement once you unlock it. Fast travel can be initiated from anywhere, by the way, and it's totally free to use, so don't worry about wasting resources on it.
Yeah, that really bothered me about Red Dead Redemption, that you had to pay for fast travel packs. That was annoying. Ugh, eventually I got enough money where I could afford tons of them, but I hated that.
Of the Highlands, it's helpful to know that hitting L2 multiple times will zoom you out to a top-down view showing.
Like I get that Red Dead was trying to go for realism, but like they should give the players the option to be like, well, This part I don't care about being real. So let me fast travel whenever I want. Wee wee. Turn to the microphone. He's on my lap.
All the different regions across the map and a list of collectibles you can find in each one, which is really handy once you start exploring the Highlands. Now, something the game doesn't tell you is that instead of moving your cursor up to select the Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and world maps each time you want to switch them, you can instead just use left and right on your D-pad, which is much faster. You'll also eventually find that certain objectives require you to visit locations specifically during the day or night, and instead of waiting for the day-night cycle to progress normally, you can manually change the time of day at any time.
Okay, the D-pad thing to change different maps. Wow.
By opening the map and pressing down on your right thumbstick. Just keep in mind you might have to do it twice when trying to make it day if your first try actually takes you from evening to night.
Yes, okay. That happened to me all the time.
Which can look pretty similar. Now, as you play through the opening quests and get out into the open world, you'll definitely want to get in the habit of tapping left on your D-pad to use Revelio frequently. This will help you find chests and other objects to interact with pretty much everywhere you go, and doing so is
See, I know he said that there's no spoilers, and I believe him, and I see that there are no story spoilers. He said no story spoilers, but just having him show off that him doing Revelio in these locations, that's like spoiling for me. That's spoiling that one specific Revelio page or that one specific thing, or even just being in a location that I hadn't seen yet myself. I would kind of rather see it for myself in my gameplay and not see it through somebody else's video. Not that this person's doing anything wrong with this video. It's just that's my personal preference that I would like to go in as blind as possible.
Important to gain,
and that's why I don't watch these things.
XP, gather resources, and find hidden puzzles. Probably the most important collectible early on are field guide pages, which grant a nice burst of XP when you collect one. These are scattered all over, and lots of them are revealed by casting Revelio nearby, but flying ones need to be snagged with the Accio spell, which you'll unlock early in the main storyline. You can also find some by casting Levioso on these statues holding ornate orbs, and Incendio or Confringo on these dragon braziers. You'll also come across a variety of chests containing different types of loot. Your regular chests either have galleons, which is the game's currency, or a piece of gear. The more ornate looking ones are collection chests, which contain cosmetics for your outfits and decorations for the room of requirement. Disillusionment chests are the really valuable ones though. These have an eyeball on them and contain 500 galleons each, which is a lot.
I can't believe how I just didn't, it's got an eye on it, of course. The disillusionment spell icon has an eye on it. Being invisible means eyes can't see you. Can't believe I didn't realize that for the longest time. And you pass a chest right there in the beginning of that mission.
Want to head straight back to Hogsmeade because there's at least 10 disillusionment chests in and around the village, meaning you can get at least 5,000 galleons really easily within the first few hours of your game. Skirt around the edge of the village casting Revelio and you'll find them quite easily. Plus there's plenty more in the castle and other locations too. Now you're also going to run into these ornate puzzle doors with creatures engraved on the frame and some math looking stuff in the middle. These are arithmancy.
I'd like to know how people that figured this out on their own, how did they figure out what this was on their own? How did they figure out how did they decode it? What was their thought process on how to decode it? I would love to know.
Doors. And if you're a Potterhead, you might have been able to figure these out pretty quickly. But I think
Oh, well, there you go.
Most people are totally confused by these, and understandably so. So here's how they work. The creatures around the frame represent the numbers 0 through 9. The demiguise in the bottom left is 0, the unicorn is 1, and so on. Now on the door itself, we have 2 triangles, each with a big number.
Yes, now I know.
Collectibles, including pieces of gear, and gear is definitely something we should discuss as well. You'll find 4
Sell it all.
starting with the basic green Well Appointed. We then have blue Superb, purple Extraordinary, and orange Legendary. Each piece of gear has stats for either offense, defense, or both.
I wonder if this character is an accurate representation visually of the person who made this video, if this is their gameplay.
Offense makes your attacks deal more damage, and defense reduces the damage taken from enemy attacks. Blue, purple, and orange gear can be upgraded 3 times to increase these stats, and those 3 rarities of gear can also be equipped with traits, which add special properties like resistance to a particular type of enemy. Traits themselves come in 3 rarity levels too. You can find lower tier traits in bandit camps, which always have them in a chest, but the stronger tier 3 traits are unlocked by completing a variety of challenges.
Oh, but that's its tier 1 right there. Okay, interesting. All the higher tier traits came from these challenges. I didn't realize that.
This brings up another important tip, which is to check the challenges tab in your menu often, because you actually have to claim the pieces of gear and other rewards for owl post frequently. Most of those play audio when you get them, so you can't miss them.
Most of them.
Really stealthy, so you might actually get to a point where you feel like there's no quest to move forward with, and it's probably because you have.
Yeah, I didn't hear any voices. I was wondering what was going on.
The frustrating thing with gear is that you're given very limited inventory space to hold it all.
Until the Merlin trials, but you have to do so many.
While your inventory is full, which is really quite annoying. To make space, you either have
And now you just lost out on that chest. That's one of the special chests. You're not going to be able to reopen it now. Unless you reload your save.
To a shopkeeper in Hogsmeade, or you have to destroy it, which is obviously not ideal since you won't get any gas.
I did so many of that.
Don't worry,
so many destroyings. I hated it.
Aren't unique. You'll find lots of copies of the same ones as you play, and as far as I can tell, the stats they come with are randomized to a certain extent. So you actually often find lower rarity gear with better stats than your higher rarity gear. In that case, you should totally use it. Now, I think the other
which I did.
worry about when selling gear is that they'll lose the ability to
you
sell it off.
You get the look. Yeah.
This is often going to look totally ridiculous, but also make gear invisible. So if you're like me and you generally don't like hats or face wear, you can equip them for the stats and then just make them invisible. That's space in your inventory worse than the item you currently have equipped, so you can immediately tell if you should switch to using the new one. It's also pretty cool that you can put your cloak's hood up.
Yeah, I know.
Over the cloak and
Yeah, I know that.
the wand looks. It's not such a big. The only thing you can't change is the face shape, so you'll want to make sure you get one that you like in the Merlin trials. These unlock after speaking with Nora Treadwell, who you 2 levels
Yeah, I know about that.
inventory slots, room of growing plants, brewing potion, or so, and have which will unlock the skills.
Okay, we're getting to like things that we all know.
Wizarding world, nothing is truly.
Wish I knew sooner. This is probably the same thing.
The entire video is stories. You know
Good.
exactly how it works. Well, it reveals all of the interactive.
Okay.
Point out
Secrets around Hogwarts.
statues. These dragon cauldrons can be activated on the. Nothing's worse than looking like a frumpy wizard. In fact,
Okay.
I finished the main storyline.
So I guess most of these wish I knew sooners I don't actually need.
Host of things that you can
Top
do.
10 mistakes.
Collectibles, quests, main
Holding you
quests,
back.
side quests, whether it's fighting enemies, whether it's saving beasts, or a whole host of other things. There's plenty of things to keep you busy and occupied with your time in game. But these 10 top mistakes. The first thing here is try to get your Alohomora quest. For example, it's leveled up, the more you can actually see in the top right hand corner of your screen the amount of collection chests, field guide pages, Merlin trials, etc. that you have completed for each of the zones. Now, as you can see, some of these I have 100%ed, and if you are trying to get something specific, this can tell you what you have and haven't done in an area. This can be really useful if you are trying to hit a particular milestone in your field guide and want to know where you can get more of these activities done. Done 20 out of the break these indicators when you do feed and look after them inside your vivarium. So as soon as you've got access to your room of requirement and indeed the different vivariums,
Take care of them.
regardless of where you are on the quest line for this, you should always try and get yourself firstly some diricles, as these will allow for the neasels. The increase traces of ancient magic throughout the world, you will get an increase to your ancient.
Yeah, I remember seeing somebody else's video where they had 5
bar in the bottom right of
ancient magic slots bars, and I'm like, what the heck?
ASAP is going to be a really
Oh, this is on the PC. Okay.
in Hogwarts Legacy. All 3 of these curses are really
Fancy.
Particularly early on in the game when you haven't completed as many.
Yeah.
End up
These are all very good.
So do is use your disillusionment spell. That being said, there is some great stuff.
So everyone's basically saying the same things. Okay, what if you use Avocadabra on students in class? How would you get it? How would you get that already? Did you hack the game?
Points to Slytherin.
No way. Points to Slytherin, nuh-uh. That's horrible. It's like a school shooting game.
If what I've seen today is any indication, we can expect great things from you.
Thank you, Professor Hackett.
Cutting off, I love perfectly timed yells.
I'd recommend that you practice your new spell here in my office before taking it out into the world. Where in the name of Merlin did you learn magic like that?
You're lucky that I'm no longer an unspeakable.
I would encourage you once again to practice here in the classroom, for your sake and that of everyone else. I suggest you give your wand a rest.
So you can really do the entire Sebastian Sallow quest line, that whole thing, you can get it done before you're doing any of this other stuff?
Don't let me find you doing that again.
Oh dear, I'm afraid you've rather veered outside of the curriculum. If you'd like to practice a bit more, you're welcome to do so here in the greenhouse. Just mind the plants, please.
It's all the same guy, Miloo. M-E-L-O-O. Oh, it says there up in the top right. I was just looking at his name at the bottom. And does it say that? Have you seen this wizard that really pops up? Wanted time left? That doesn't even look like the same font as anything. Is this a mod? Yeah, I guess this is what I saw with all the teachers. Came over, you were sent to Azkaban. I've never seen that font.
Professor Weasley, would you be so kind as to show our new student to their common room?
I shall see to it, sir.
This is all edited. No. Oh, you just walked into the... Okay. Wait, how did he actually get in there? What the heck? Yeah, that's the guy that's reaching out for you when you're walking through, when you do the Hufflepuff. What? How did he get inside there? I know that there was Azkaban prison cells that were open that you could walk into, but that door was closed. Wow.
I'm having a ton of fun in Hogwarts Legacy, and I've got a bunch of tips to help make sure that you also get the most out of the game, requirement and flying on your broom unlocked. And then the specific flu.
Okay, well this is I hope that they have like a out of bounds thing. Excuse me, we. The truth about the end of the map. Oh. Out of bounds tutorial.
So going to the end of maps in video games is something that I'm always curious about.
I recognize his voice, but I don't recognize the name of the channel. Super Rebel. Yeah, a lot of the map you can see when you're up high, you can see the mountains beyond the invisible wall are not detailed.
And especially when you get to the end of the map and you're able to break the barrier, that's where things get more exciting.
Break the barrier?
It then becomes a question on how far can you just go. So it's exactly what happened to me in Hogwarts Legacy. I was able to get to the end of the map.
What?
And then turned on a waypoint to see just how far out I got and how far I can go until I get stopped, and 2 unexpected things happened. Now, it's something you definitely want to try out, and it's what you're seeing in the background, but as I'm showing it to you guys, I'm going to give you some context and a bit of a story. So I was somehow able to break the wall and just venture off. My curiosity...
The reflection's so weird.
And at that point, I was just super eager to figure out how far I can go. Now, because I broke the wall, I was also curious to know if I did break the ceiling for the most part, and whether or not I can go much higher than, you know, you currently can. The sad news is I was not, but again, to give you some context, and you'll be seeing it all in the
It's like at a certain height you can see reflections of mountains that aren't there, right?
Just quickly add here as well.
Like right there, what land is it looking at?
So I kept moving up and down just to see if anything would happen, which it did not, and then suddenly, as I kept going, I figured the water was changing and it just suddenly went flat. Now, if you've ever been deep into the ocean, hopefully you get what I mean. It just felt incredibly eerie. Now, the sunset had already kicked in, and at that point, I had literally been zooming through the air for ages. I mean, it felt like such a long time. I didn't actually time it, but it was long enough.
Well, you have the footage. You have the footage recorded. Put it on a timeline and see how long the timeline says it is.
At the perfect time, which made the whole mood and scene just feel incredibly different. Just listen to this.
In the time of day, this is scary.
Do you see what I mean? It just feels weird, right? At this point, I genuinely felt like I was doing something wrong, but I was too deep in this to now just turn back. So I was either going to keep going until I was forced to stop, or
oh my, that's what she said doesn't work.
Was going to jump out and attempt to stop me. That at that point was pretty much my conclusion. There was no other option. I even checked the map to see how far I was, which was a good sign because my icon was still there, but soon I was not even going to be detected on that radar.
I don't see your icon.
As time passes by, I'm seeing this weird shiny light reflecting on the sea, which at first I assumed was the moon, but it just felt a little too bright. In the end, however, I just accepted it as the moon because I honestly felt like I was going crazy at that point. So anyway, it goes pitch black and I decided to keep going because I spotted a random island and was very eager to see if I could land on it and then explore it. But I was literally in darkness at one point, so I just stopped for it to basically go back to daytime. And when I had the intention that that was going to kick in, wow, was I in for a surprise.
I'm glad the fog cleared.
It took so much longer than it usually does, way longer than usual.
I don't know, it took, near the end of the game, it took forever. It took forever for it to go daytime for me, it felt like.
Night system was just stuck at night. Now, thankfully, it was still working, and eventually daytime kicked back in. So I went to the island, so to say, to basically try to land. And
it'll be a lost island.
I just went right through it, which again,
whoa.
I kind of knew it was going to be a thing, but I was like, it would also be cool if I could just land on it. And
that's, I mean, that's a way worse quality than the mountains I saw right next to the, right on the other side of the invisible wall.
And then see if I can actually swim on the water as well. Now,
whoa.
That wasn't a thing. So I was still curious, and
whoa.
The textures were, of course, terrible. Again, all sort of expected for the most part. And the height restriction was also still in place. But this is
the fact that there's space at all.
So I felt I was literally able to see
the edge of the water.
And I was right. It was the edge, so I just kept going to see if it was a literal edge, which, funny enough, it also was. So it was almost
don't spoil it. Let me just see.
Leaving the universe, and it just felt weird. Like, when does this stop? Because usually most games at this point, you're stopped in your tracks for the most part, or something just happens to the game that prevents you going any further. So I crossed the line and I was basically in pure emptiness. So I put the map on, placed a waypoint just to see how far I was, and then came to the realization on how far I was, and that there is no sign of stopping. So the edge of the map was something I did not expect, as I say.
But the map has to be a physical, in the digital terms, size, right? I mean, like, this was made in Unreal Engine, so I don't know what you call the canvas, the project window. I don't know what you would call it in Unreal Engine, but when you design a map, there must be some measurement system. All right, your map is 1 million by 800,000 pixels, you know, 1 million tall and 800,000 wide, or maybe they don't go by pixels, maybe they go by some sort of, some other measurement. I don't know, like, for every foot that the character walks, that's considered like an Unreal metric. I don't know. It's an Unrealio. Every real world foot is one Unrealio. And so they must say, like, okay, well, the map is going to be 1 million by 800,000 or something, right? You can't just actually go forever. But regardless of not going forever, like, why would they have even built the map to be this physical size? Why does this even exist for a player to move through? That's crazy. The only thing I can think of is that they are planning a DLC and that stuff will go here. And is that how you would do something like that for a game? If you're just gonna have stuff that can be added to the base game, do you need to have the canvas, the space in the game to put it in there? I don't know, my gosh.
So many games do not even let you get close to that, let alone cross it. So now I'm just going and go. Kicks back in, just making the whole thing feel incredibly magical.
Also, at what point, like, is things moving? It almost feels like, maybe just because things are so far away, but it feels like the map actually, the things aren't actually going further away. It feels like that has just stopped, and the only thing that's happening is the wind effect is just moving.
And at the same time, the speed effect made me genuinely feel like I was time traveling. It was so cool. Then I decided to nosedive just because, and then I got stuck in that nosedive position and was basically going down. So I decided to just cast Revelio at this point, because why not? I didn't even know why I thought of not doing it beforehand, but I did that, and then I was in for another surprise because it bugged out. So now I'm just plummeting to the ground for the most part. Revelio is just completely bugged out, but you know how you get the spark effect? It makes things, you know, just feel a lot cooler. I mean, at this point, in conclusion, it honestly felt like the 1800s version of Back to the Future. I seriously thought I was going to teleport. And then the unexpected happened. So at this point, I'm basically in this, I guess you could say, a landing position. I'm just going down, right, for about 20 to 30 minutes, and there was no ending, at least I think. And that's the mystery that has now been created. I literally left my analog all the way up, literally holding it in my hand. There was no alternative at that point. So I'm just sitting there, just basically watching it just go down. I mean, the broomsticks in it.
This only has 953 likes. Why? I'm surprised.
Like, okay, I'm also seeing the numbers. Well, at this point, I'm not seeing the numbers, but prior to that, I'm seeing the numbers like increase.
Wait, did you just dissolve back to previously?
I've got sparks. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, this is from before.
The numbers. Well, at this point, I'm not seeing the numbers, but prior to that, I'm seeing the numbers like increase ridiculously. We got over 10 or 14,000, I believe it was, before I couldn't see it anymore because I wasn't able to, of course, rotate backwards. It was insane. So at this point, I was like, okay, where is the ending of this? So that is the new mystery, because I gave up, and I don't think we'll ever know if there is
just like tape your trigger down and go to sleep for the night.
Frustrating. You want to try this yourself, stick your analog upwards somehow, maybe leave it there overnight, and let's see if there truly, and I seriously mean this, if there truly is an ending for
there has to be,
or does this just go on forever? The crazy part is, we may never ever find out.
I mean, it could go on
at this point.
It could go on forever if you've hit and you're not actually going any further physically on the map, but the wind effects just keep going, and then the wind effects could keep going forever, but you're not actually moving across any map.
For a solid 2 to 3
Leo, seriously, come on. You can't sit on my brand new keyboard.
Completely.
This is the creepiest part of the game. Game engines populate the infinite void for devs to then build in, which is why the water has an edge. But we're not using the game engine. They've burned the game onto a disk and that's crazy. Wow. This is the last video that I have listed here. Well, because I searched for Out of Bounds, so Out of Bounds tutorial. Whoa. This already looks... This video was created to assist the developers of this game. We do not support or encourage those who intend to abuse or gain a personal advantage from the content shown in this video. What would you... How are you abusing it? What personal advantage would you get?
Hey, what's up guys, this is Nick from Exploit Theory, and in this video I'll be showing you how to get fully outside of the map. Astronomy wing, tray on the right itself, and the map should deload. Now quickly take your broom to stop you from falling. You should now be under.
Whoa.
Now the developer does...
Look at those steps that go underneath.
Some things are a bit weird, like just grass and stuff. But there is a few characters that you can find under the map.
What?
To get fully outside of the map, we're going to want to head to the west side of the map, staying at this undermap level of height for now. I'm going to use one of these rocks to make myself go up higher and pop through the ground. Alternatively, you can fly a little bit more to the left and just go through the ground.
There you go. I was going to say, you're using the arcs to go up. You did not go up there.
Once you have popped through the ground, you're now fully outside of the map and free to explore. The barrier that stops you from going outside of the map...
Oh, that's interesting. So it is kind of populating. Yeah, these are parts of the map that did not look very detailed, but I guess if you get closer, somehow it is getting more detailed. How does that work? Is that what they mean by the, what do they say? Like they were saying all the Starfield planets were going to... procedurally generated. Can it be procedurally generated in your own console?
It does have collision on both sides, so you don't need to worry about popping through that. Though some areas do have a countdown which are close to the castle, so be careful of that. Because if you do accidentally go into one, there's no way to come out of them again. Well,
wow.
I do think that exploring out of the map on a broom is the best way to do it and the fastest way, mainly because of how long bounds actually is. You can't normally get off your broom whilst out of the map here, though there is a method to be able to do this.
Oh yeah, I tried that.
If you open your map and look on the top right hand side, you'll see two dark splodges on there. These areas are places where you normally teleport to for certain missions in the game. So if you make your way all the way over to there, you can actually find places where there isn't barriers, or you can go under the barrier and then you get your broom whilst in that technically playable area, even though it's unloaded, which then would allow you to explore the outer bounds on foot.
What? I wish you didn't dissolve. I wanted to see that.
so incredibly big, I wasn't expecting there to be so much collision out of bounds. It's quite insane how big this out of bounds actually is. There is literal hours of exploring if you want to explore it on foot.
But there's nothing there,
I'm
though.
sure there's probably a lot of other secrets out here that I haven't found yet.
That would be super cool if there's one random weird piece of gear out there somewhere. The way like people discover things in the bottom of the ocean of GTA all the time.
So this one is one I definitely recommend you guys trying out. This glitch was found by our team here at Exploit Theory. If you've enjoyed the video...
Only got 34 likes. I just made it 35. Wow. Easy out about 59 views. Why does it have so low? From inside. Okay, it's got a 1,300. Anyway, that was very cool. I didn't want to. This actually went longer than I thought it would. I'll end it here. I just wanted to react to a couple of videos about secrets, but it was all stuff I knew. But it was good to know that it really does not have story spoilers. But for someone like me, I wouldn't want to get any spoilers at all. But these out of bounds things, oh my gosh, that is so cool. All right, that's it for me for this one. I don't know what game I'm going to do next or what I'm doing next, but you'll know when I know. All right, take care. Bye-bye.